Okay. And real quick, put it back up. Now that she gone, hold on for a second. Let me call Park. Let me hit Carlos. Hey, Carlos. It's Carlos King. Carlos. So now that she gone, can we get Ariane on the show now? Can we do that? Can we please now get Ariane on the show? We need that. That is going to really set it off, okay? Because I know you wouldn't let her on the show because of your allegiance and alliance to Melody, because y'all developed the show together. But now that she's gone, we need somebody else that's gonna keep it spicy, okay? And Yapper, Coleslaw will do that, okay? And so we need that now. Hit me back. We just sent it to Carlos. Yeah, we did, okay?
Imagine living your everyday life in front of cameras, thinking you're in control, only to discover that you are nothing more than a character in someone else's story. That's how Melody Shari describes her time on Love and Marriage, Huntsville. At first, the world saw her as the glamorous wife, beautiful, polished, and strong, trying to hold her family together. She was the woman many admired, the picture of class and ambition. But behind the cameras, Melody says her reality was twisted into entertainment. She wasn't just telling her truth. Her pain, her family struggles, and even her breakdowns became a product for television. What started as a dream opportunity quickly turned into a nightmare. In the beginning, the show introduced her and Martell Holt as the ultimate power couple. He was the successful real estate developer, she was the driven businesswoman, and together they looked unstoppable. But that dream collapsed in front of millions when Martell's affair became public. While viewers saw the scandal unfold, Melody says what they didn't see was even more damaging. She insists the producers didn't simply record her life, they altered it. They set up scenes without her knowledge, staged confrontations, and created ambushes designed to break her down on camera. She would walk into a scene believing she was filming something normal, only to be blindsided by accusations and betrayal. And while the audience judged her reactions, she was experiencing real hurt in real time. What cut the deepest was realizing that some of the people participating in these ambushes were the same friends she once trusted. Take Destiny Payton, for example. At one point, Melody considered her a sister. They laughed together, cried together, and shared personal secrets. But according to Melody, when her marriage fell apart, Destiny changed sides. Private conversations began to leak, and Destiny openly defended Martell. Viewers noticed the shift, and for Melody, it felt like a knife in her back. Then there was Letitia Scott. Melody and Letitia had their share of disagreements, but one accusation stung more than the rest: the claim that Melody was out to destroy families. For a woman who had endured a marriage filled with betrayal and emotional abuse, being painted as a home wrecker felt like a cruel twist. Melody defended herself with clarity. "I didn't destroy my family, Martell did. I just refused to stay broken for the comfort of others." But Melody believes the cast wasn't the only group against her. She is convinced the producers shaped storylines to make Martell look like a misunderstood husband while she came across as cold, unstable, or overly emotional. She claims the scenes that showed her strength and resilience were cut short, while her tears and heated arguments were magnified for drama. In her words, "A composed, strong black woman doesn't make good TV, but a broken one sells." The emotional toll was enormous. Melody recalls one day when, after being attacked in a group scene, she left the set, sat in her car for over an hour, and cried until she couldn't anymore. She questioned everything: why she kept returning, why she was allowing herself to be part of something that seemed built to destroy her. That moment almost broke her. But it also pushed her to take control. Instead of letting others define her, Melody chose to reclaim her voice. She began speaking openly on Instagram Live, through her music, and in interviews. She promised herself that if producers were going to profit from her pain, then she would also find purpose in it. And that's exactly what she did. Her healing didn't come from silence. It came from action. While many expected her to fade away after her marriage and reputation were torn apart, she did the opposite. She built. In the middle of her storm, she created 7th Avenue Premier Skincare. It wasn't just a business, it was her way of rebuilding her identity outside of Martell, the show, and the drama. At product launches, she shared raw captions, makeup-free photos, and unfiltered stories of survival. Her message was simple: rebirth is possible after pain. The brand became more than skincare. It became a symbol. Women connected deeply, sending messages saying they finally felt seen and heard. Sales skyrocketed, not just because of the products, but because Melody had turned her scars into a testimony. She was no longer dependent on the show or Martell for stability. She was proving that independence was possible. But she didn't stop there. Melody turned back to real estate, this time on her own terms. She launched masterclasses to teach women how to invest, flip properties, and create financial independence. Thousands joined, eager not just to learn but to win. Melody became a living example of strength and resilience, showing women that they didn't need a man, a marriage, or a network to secure their future. She also returned to music, not chasing a chart hit, but as therapy. Her song Telltale Signs was raw and unpolished, but that's what made it powerful. Women heard their own pain in her voice. Every lyric felt real, every word carried emotion. It wasn't about perfection, it was about honesty. Her Instagram lives became another outlet. She spoke candidly, sometimes laughing, sometimes crying, never sugarcoating the truth. Fans didn't tune in for gossip, they tuned in for authenticity. It felt like group therapy, where Melody's openness gave others permission to release their own pain. This honesty began to shift the way fans saw the show. People started noticing patterns. Why was Melody often isolated in scenes? Why were her accomplishments rarely highlighted? Why did the network focus on her breakdowns while ignoring her wins? Then, a leaked email appeared online, allegedly showing producers discussing how to limit Melody's airtime so she wouldn't shine too brightly. While unconfirmed, many fans didn't need proof. To them, everything already made sense. Suddenly, the show didn't look like harmless entertainment. It looked like a machine, a system designed to reward compliance and punish defiance. And Melody wasn't playing that game anymore. Of course, speaking out came with risks. Reality TV might brand itself as unscripted, but the truth is that those who challenge the system are often silenced or pushed out. Melody knew this, but she refused to stay quiet. She had already lost her marriage, her trust in friends, and parts of her privacy. Losing a show wasn't going to scare her. What makes Melody's story powerful isn't just what she survived, it's how she transformed it. She took betrayal, heartbreak, and public humiliation and turned them into fuel for independence, business success, and personal growth. She proved that she was more than a character edited for ratings. For women who have ever felt silenced, used, or broken, Melody's journey is more than inspiration, it's proof that you can rebuild. You can create your own narrative even when others try to twist it. You can walk away from destruction and still thrive. In the end, Melody Shari's story isn't just about reality TV drama. It's about resilience. It's about a woman who chose not to stay down when life knocked her over. It's about survival, rebirth, and building a life that no one else controls. And as the cracks in love and marriage, Huntsville continue to show, one thing is clear: Melody Shari is no longer just surviving the story they wrote for her. She's writing her own. Melody began to notice something strange. The woman who was once front and center suddenly felt invisible on her own show. Scenes that showed her success, her wins, her moments of peace, disappeared without explanation. The promotions, the trailers, the posters, her presence grew smaller and smaller. It was as if someone had decided her story didn't deserve light anymore. Behind the scenes, the warnings became louder. She was told to smile for the cameras, to play nice, and to stop resisting if she wanted to remain part of the brand. In other words, stay quiet and cooperate. But this wasn't just business to her. This was her actual life. Her children were involved. Her peace of mind was on the line. Her reputation was being shaped by hands that didn't care about her truth. And so, she faced a choice: shrink herself to fit the narrative or refuse and face the consequences. Melody chose refusal. And the punishment followed quickly. Invitations she once received vanished. Promising deals suddenly collapsed. Her accomplishments stopped being shared on the network's social media. The silence was deliberate, and it was heavy. To a woman who had once carried the show, it was like being erased. But Melody did not crumble. Instead, she pivoted. She built her own platform where no one else could twist her story. She chose her own lighting. She picked her own camera angles. She wrote her own captions. She no longer waited for approval, edits, or permission. And the most powerful thing happened: her supporters followed her. Not only did they stay, but they grew in numbers. People were hungry for honesty, for the raw, unfiltered truth. And that's what Melody gave them. She spoke about pain, survival, betrayal, and healing without hiding behind perfection. The more she spoke, the more women connected with her. Messages poured in. Women told her, "I left my toxic relationship because of you." Others said, "You taught me how to love myself again." Young women confessed, "You made it all finally make sense." Suddenly, Melody's story wasn't just her own anymore. It became a mirror for thousands of women who had been silenced, dismissed, or broken. They saw themselves in her. They saw possibility in her strength. But that doesn't mean it was easy. There were still nights when she cried alone, mornings when she didn't want to post, and days when she wondered if fighting back was really worth it. The backlash was real. The loneliness was real. Yet every time doubt tried to crush her, another message would appear in her inbox reminding her why she couldn't stop. She wasn't just living for herself anymore. She was carrying the voices of women who needed proof that survival after betrayal was possible. Her journey became more than reality television drama. It turned into a masterclass in resilience. She showed that when the very system that should uplift you tries to break you, you can still rise. She didn't just survive the chaos, she turned it into a foundation to build something lasting. Today, Melody Shari is not just a name on a reality show. She's a movement. She's a brand. She's a symbol of what it looks like to be broken but never destroyed, to fall and still get back up, to turn wounds into wisdom. She showed the world that you can take the pieces of what was meant to ruin you and build something unshakable. And that is the real story, far bigger than television ratings or edited storylines. Melody Shari didn't just survive reality TV. She rewrote her own reality. And in doing so, she gave countless women the courage to do the same.